Let's get right into it. I'm Ekundayo from Ekundayo TV Studios, stepping in today as your veteran expat mentor. Look, if you're part of the diaspora or you're gearing up to relocate, we need to have a serious reality check about navigating new countries safely. We pour so much energy into packing bags and dreaming up our new lives, right? But the everyday realities of actually living abroad, well, they aren't exactly printed in the tourist brochures. So let's dive straight into this explainer, because what we're covering today is absolutely crucial for protecting yourself from a mistake you should literally never take lightly.
We really have to talk about culture shock here. Think about where you grow up. For a lot of us raised in Nigeria, for example, missing an address is, well, it's basically a non-issue. The absolute worst thing that happens? Someone steps out, you say, oops, wrong house, you smile, apologize, and just keep moving. Totally harmless. But abroad, especially in certain parts of the US, the rules of engagement are an entirely different beast. That exact same innocent mistake can lead to deadly misunderstandings. The context just shifts completely, and realizing this is really step one in staying safe.
Section 1. Tragic Cases in the U.S. The Deadly Reality. Okay, I'm going to pause the mentor role for a quick second and put my reporter hat on, because we really need to look at the recent international headlines to understand why this is so critical. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about being deeply informed. Back in 2023, we saw a really devastating string of incidents, situations where simply turning into the wrong driveway or ringing the wrong doorbell ended in absolute tragedy. These aren't some isolated events from decades ago, They are modern, real-life cases that completely shock the world.
Let's look at the facts. In rural New York, a 20-year-old woman named Kaylin Gillis was just out with friends looking for a house. Simple enough, right? But through a simple navigational error, their car pulled into the wrong driveway. They realized the mistake pretty quickly, but as they were leaving, the homeowner opened fire. And she was killed. Just a wrong turn down a driveway, and a young life was lost.
Then there's the incredibly heartbreaking case of 16-year-old Ralph Yarl. He went to pick up his younger brothers in Missouri. He accidentally went to the wrong address, walked right up to the front, and rang the doorbell. For doing that, literally just an everyday action we've all done, he was shot and seriously injured.
And sadly, this extends to people who are just out there trying to do their jobs. Over in Indiana, a cleaner reportedly arrived at the wrong address for a job she'd been hired to do. Because of that simple address mix-up, she was fatally shot. Authorities actually had to open a homicide investigation for that one. Reading these stories is heavy, I know. But as a reporter, I have to say, they impart a completely non-negotiable lesson for anyone moving to an unfamiliar place.
Section 2. The Safe Arrival Checklist. Proactive Habits for Newcomers.
All right, I'm sitting back down with you as your mentor now. Let's pivot from those tragic reports into the proactive habits we absolutely have to adopt. The goal of this explainer is not to make you live in fear, okay? It's to empower you. When you move abroad, it's so easy to get hyper-focused on the hustle. We work incredibly hard to earn money and support our families. But here's the reality check. Surviving abroad isn't just about working hard. Learning the system, figuring out your physical and social environment is honestly just as vital as that paycheck. You have to study your surroundings the same way you prep for a new job.
So, let's walk through this practical safe arrival checklist together. Think of this as your personal mental protocol before you visit anywhere new. First up, confirm the address twice. Seriously, don't just glance at it, verify it. Second, use your GPS carefully. Tech makes mistakes. Sometimes Main Street and Main Avenue are miles apart but look exactly the same on your screen. Third, call the person you're visiting before you even arrive to let them know you're pulling up. Fourth, if you are unsure, just stay in your vehicle. And fifth, be extra cautious at night when visibility is terrible and house numbers are basically impossible to read.
I really want to drill down on that fourth step for a second, because it is literally your greatest physical safeguard. If you pull up to a house and anything, and I mean anything, feels off, maybe the GPS glitches, maybe the house doesn't match what you expected, or you just have a weird gut feeling, do not get out of the car. Stay inside, lock the doors, maintain that physical barrier, and just call your contact for directions. Have them come outside and wave you in. That tiny little buffer of time and space, it can be a total game changer.
Section 3. Adopting a proactive mindset, elevating safety habits. To really thrive in the diaspora, we have to do a lot more than just memorize a checklist. We have to bake these safety checks into a permanent, proactive mindset. Think about how much effort we put into settling in. I mean, migrants will spend months, sometimes years, figuring out how the tax system works, untangling health insurance, and obsessing over credit scores. We attack those administrative tasks with laser focus because we know they're essential. Well, learning your personal safety habits, like strict address verification, is exactly the same. It demands that identical level of rigorous focus.
Now, let's keep all of this in perspective. The truth is, the vast majority of us are never going to experience anything remotely like the extreme cases we talked about earlier. But, as we always remind you here at Econdio TV Studios, being cautious costs absolutely nothing. Taking an extra 10 seconds to verify your destination, that's essentially a free insurance policy for your life. A simple address mix-up should never ever become a life-changing event.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to really chew on. Think about your own journey, or even the experiences of your friends. What truly shocked you when you realized the unwritten rules of home no longer applied in your new country? Navigating these differences is the ultimate key to thriving as a migrant. So stay safe, stay observant, and always verify before you step out. Thanks for hanging out with me for this essential survival guide.